Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Mad Rum's Talking Straight. I'm your host, Jim, and it's a day. We've got a whole new trailer for Chapter 3 of Icebrood Saga, Icebrood Saga Champions. It's Chapter 3, Balance. God, it's so awkward making sure I get the title and the subtitle right every single time. But we've got some returning developers to ArenaNet, which is fantastic. And then we've got some wonkiness going on with GeForce Now, and we'll get to that later. But first, let me introduce our first co-host. He's back from the depths of space. It's Deo, and he's practicing his balance.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for the balance patch.
We missed him, right, guys? Don't do it. Don't do it. Too much balance.
Cut away quick.
Okay, and he streams over on Twitch where he answers the age-old question. If dragons did yoga, would they have good balance? What would dragon yoga even look like?
I think so, just because tails are like designed on animals for balance purposes. So I would say so.
Works for me.
I mean, I don't know what it would look like, but do you think it would scale with more dragons?
Not even 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes.
Oh God.
Could we have someone in chat like hold a Deo pun counter, please?
God, I think I need to create that as a chat command. Just exclamation mark pun. Oh God. Okay. So because we were the wonderful setup there from Deo, thank you. We've got the trailer for Chapter 3 of Icebrood Saga Champions, Balance. It's going to be releasing March 9th, and I'm going to need to step through a whole bunch of images for this, so give me half a second. First, I'm just going to pull up the trailer. Oh, you cursed thing. You were supposed to start at the start. Transition. Success. Okay. I'm not like 100% in love with the trailer. It's kind of bland to me.
I mean, I feel like, and we might be talking about it more as we talk about the actual like stuff that's involved in it. I think it encompasses, I think, how people felt with the last update, where like I mean, honestly, this is the problem with, like, I think the dragon missions is, or this what is this, the chapters within the episodes. And so it's like the first one was just like really no lore. Then the second one, I don't think a lot of people played because people were just like, well, it's just dragon response missions, and then they put in a little bit of lore at the end. And then in this one, in this trailer, it's like more dragon, like it's literally all the features that we have been seeing. It's just like a different, more different dragon response missions, different weapons, like basically all the same stuff. And then they throw in, as I think you're about to see, that little bit of lore, and you're like, wait, what was that? Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So really, the only thing that carries it for me as a person that enjoys the lore, that little last bit. The rest of it, I was just like, okay, yeah, more of the same.
Oh God, sorry. Seeing Penguin in chat with Bram as a backpack.
God.
Ouch.
You can always put him in a robot.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed by the trailer either. It was like, I feel like they need to put that brand part at the beginning and like put it just kind at the end as well to just get you in it.
Maybe like layer it, like go back and forth between the new Dragon Response mission stuff and like Bram walking through the volcano, doing a little bit of voiceover, like
Yeah,
Mm.
slowly eking into it, but that's it. Um, it's interesting that they said more of the same because it does feel more of the same, and I think it's interesting just because each episode provided, like previously the Icebrood Saga, like when we had seasons, just provided some interesting development or interesting features, maps, things like that. Not saying that we have to have a map every episode, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's just not grabbing my attention. I think this is, for me, it's more of a setup episode for the last one. I really hope the last trailer, chapter 4, kind of just really nails it home about what it's going to be about. I'm hoping it's going to be longer than a normal episode because these ones have been not so satisfying story wise. I feel like I'm getting a lot of lore out of it, obviously, just because of the different dialogues between like two NPCs that go into a dragon response mission with you. But outside of that, I'm not really feeling immersed, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
I'm kind of
That's
wondering
what
how it's like at this point. I'm wondering if I should just wait until all 4 chapters are out before I play it to see if it feels
more
like
cohesive.
Cohesive.
comparable.
Um I feel like you can I feel like you could wait for the trailer for chapter 4 and then like play through it all one go and then just play chapter 4 the week after
Yeah.
when it releases, I guess.
Which
Cuz I feel like that'd be a decent time frame.
I mean, I suppose that's one of the things I feel bad about because I think this is supposed to be like the capstone for Icebrood Saga. Like
Yeah.
this is the big finale, and like they've
Oh,
had
so
to
this is the
piecemeal the end.
finale,
I
episode 5.
I don't know. Like it kind of feels like it's supposed to be that, but
It's supposed to, but I feel like it's dragging on for really long.
I thought there was
I
at least support for 6 episodes or something. I thought, but
uh, this last this last episode is breaking down into 4 chapters.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not.
yeah.
Like I can't remember if that's 100% accurate, but
I
it's certainly
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. Like I need this last chapter to be longer than a normal episode.
yeah.
Just because I don't know how this chapter 3 is going to end. I don't know what setup it's going to have, but I don't feel like it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to feel like I'm excited for chapter 4.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to deal with Primordus or Jormag in this sense, like we do like with, because it seems like we deal with a problem at the end of every season and a new one arises, but I don't know if we're actually going to deal with it. I don't feel like the story is plotted out in such a timely fashion that it's a satisfying ending for me.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like is going to be my problem.
Now, the problem, like Tavik, I'm actually looking at what you're saying here, and this would be the time for them to, because normally we've seen Bram do something brash and stupid and ill-advised at like key moments, running off with the bow, taking an expedition north while we're trying to do other shit. You know, at this point, him doing something that helps would be, narratively speaking, a great moment. Like this would be a solid moment for him to do something, and he was always fighting. And the way he was talking there is that he's inferring that we have to do something different than fighting. Leads me to believe that he's going to try and talk to Primordus, which would be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be cool.
We haven't really seen Primors since
Either.
what season was that? Where with like Balthazar, so it was before Path of Fire,
That was
where
season
we literally saw his nose. That's about it. So
3.
Yeah.
I want to say that was 3.
was it 3?
3 or 4.
But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting, and since it is a vision of the past, so At least I'm assuming that portion's in the Vision of the Past, since it says scry into the past, play as Bram Aersons in a solo story mission. It would be weird if it took place during or unless because weren't previous Vision of the Past you had to play through the story, which I guess would be all the DRMs, and then it would be that. So technically, chronologically, it would still be a past thing if it happened during your time. I'm curious when this is taking place. This little lore snippet we're getting.
Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like Visions of the Past is might have been a misnomer, although it could just be the recent past instead of the much farther past. Because I mean,
I think this is going to be a recent thing. But
to go to QED's point, Bram becoming more measured in his responses to things and less likely to resort to violence first and to just fight things has actually been his character progression. Like, that's kind of been where he's been going. So him doing, like, talking to Primordus isn't so much out of character. It's just the first time he has actively done the complete opposite, because he's saying, this has to be a drastic thing.
And I've seen a lot, what chat's bringing up, and I've seen a lot of people bring this up, is they're going to think Bram is going to become Primordus's champion, kind of like Rylan became Jormag's champion.
That's honestly an interesting point. I don't know how well that will work.
I don't think that's the balance that might be happening here. I have an idea.
And it wouldn't be a lore show without Deo having ideas.
Would people absolutely hate Bram even further? Arena's trying to take up my voice box. If he sacrificed the spirits of the wild. Because if you think about it, the journal from Asgeir Dragonrender, who was Newt Whitebear's grandfather. But basically the story is he was the guy that led the charge to get the Norn away from Jormag, who, they in the journal, spoiler for, I think this was a couple episodes ago, so I mean, but it was still the Icebrood Saga, where you find the journal, where he basically describes that he actually talked with Jormag, and he says, take the tooth back, convince the people to, basically retreat with you. And then, I think he talks about while they retreat, or what we know is while they retreated, the other spirits, like, what was it? Owl, ox, bull, the four that stayed and fought back, that we basically had to go back in the last couple episodes and basically try to recover. Stayed back and got basically consumed by Jormag. I'm proposing, and it is interesting that he says, like, this is in his journal, that he'll carry the burden for as long as he lives. And I think it was the idea of possibly the Norn retreating, because he was like, oh, I think we could have won type thing. But what if it also was, maybe he made a deal with Jormag to sacrifice those four spirits so Jormag would let them go? What if, to create balance or another deal, you see Bram walking up there with four spirits, just potentially like Asgeir did. So basically, what if he's potentially trying to balance the power playing field for those two dragons by sacrificing four more spirits?
Now, the thing there is, in a lot of narratives with magic, the a willing sacrifice is more potent than a taken sacrifice. So Jormag took. There was no peaceful anything about the spirits that were corrupted by Jormag, and we're aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
If the spirits of the wild that are with Bram are willingly offering themselves in this burden, if we follow along with your whole thing, and a lot of narratives talk about stuff like this, that willing sacrifice of themselves to Jormag's power would be far more potent than what Jormag has at hand, or to Primordus's power. But that's an interesting take on it. I'm not...
And I think, because it goes back to last episode, with the little bit of chunk of lore that we actually got, we talked about a little bit in the Discord, because, you know, but there was one historian, Myron Skielkin, but which interestingly has a long history of being around prophecies, and they even deliver the line of I don't know if historian. I was trying to read what we were typing up about it, but basically I think he talks about how basically prophecies aren't as cut and dry, like it's open to interpretation type thing. But if you look at that character's history, was part of the Derman Priory, so around Ogden, pretty much, who the dwarves, they had their own prophecy with Primordus itself. Now he's part of the Crystal Bloom, so Kaith, Arene, another prophecy type thing. It's like, this is pretty interesting, but they were talking about prophecy, but also I think at the end of the story, I believe, and this is the last episode, so, you know, I mean, if you haven't played it yet, I mean, but it said, Owl actually tells you the wild together can direct the fall. So even a longer shot, because what if it's the initial, like, oh no, we just sacrificed basically all the Norn gods, spirits, but the interesting thing is, what if the wild together can direct the fall? Some of the spirits are now in Jormag. You put some of the spirits in Primordus. What if they can somehow, you can unlock that power in them to corrupt them, to, you know, reverse corrupt them?
So basically what you're saying is that the spirits of the wild that are in the dragons can be contacted, given back some form of control over themselves.
I mean,
we basically
literally, Al is telling us, which we thought was supposed to be corrupt, you know, so there is some kind of remnants that was able to be drawn out of. So yeah, what if it's like, well, now all of the spirits together can now hopefully absorb that or do something with that. But I don't know, that's just, but oh yeah, the last episode was Judgment, or last chapter was Judgment. But yeah, this one's supposed to be balance, which that's the one thing I'm leaning towards, of like, maybe that's why he's going to see Primordus, because, you know, we got to create some kind of balance here. But yeah, I don't know, I kept following that like little trail of things. And
thoughts, Sage?
I think about sacrificing the spirits. That actually does make sense in terms of the balance. If Bram legit goes up to Primordus and says, hey, take these spirits, power up, fight Jormag. That's interesting.
Especially if they don't reveal it all at first, because it's like, oh my god, he's sacrificing the only remaining spirits we have. Like, I don't know, that might be a good story bit.
Yeah, because it sets it up for martyrdom too, from the Norn entirely.
It's good that the Norn maybe can be interesting now.
Oh.
Wow.
But, you know, he might be able to work it to be like, no, you give us safe travels, kind of like what Asgeir did for the Jormag thing way back. Where he was like, you know, he basically talked with them and told them, you know, retreat, you know.
Yeah. Well,
because it is also interesting in that journal, and this might be me just pulling, but, and it as we're talking about it, it made me think about it, but when he says he speaks with Jormag, he can feel like a warmth, kind of like he feels with the spirits. And I was like, oh, maybe that shows like a human, like it allows you to empathize with the Sons of Svanir, where they're like, oh, they probably thought it was just another type of spirit and not this horrible force that's trying to kill everybody. But what if that is a commonality between the spirit, like that's how the spirits can maybe weave into them type thing or something and control them. Like maybe that is an innate thing in all the dragons, that they have this more calming presence, or especially now that we've killed a couple and they're all sharing magic and qualities and traits.
Or Bram's just been corrupted this whole time and not showing outward signs.
That too.
That's just me doing something out of left
field.
But
even on top of all that, Balthazar was shooting power in between the two of them, so they should have potentially shared some quality. Like maybe there is some of that warming nature. Well, no, I guess. Well, sure, pun intended. Warming nature in Primordus now that was in Jormag, like type thing. So
I have to.
Maybe.
I'm kind of curious to see if we get any kind of callback to that bit where Balthazar was trying to use their energies to kill them, to pit them against each other like that.
Mm-hmm. Which might shed a little insight on, once again, they were trying to do, and I think that's why I liked, even Guild Wars 1 and stuff, where you could, like, if you learned about, like, the Mersat and stuff, it's like, they were trying to do a good thing in their perspective, in a very horrible way. Maybe Balthazar was trying to save the world in the worst possible way ever.
Wrong things for the right reasons.
And I think that's what I've always liked about the writing and story of it. So I don't know, maybe, hopefully.
At the very least, I really hope to see the instance where we saw Primordus the first time come back, where Balthazar had Omad's machine, the giant magma cavern.
Yeah.
Because that was... the scale of that room was amazing, and I enjoyed that. But this is probably the biggest chunk of lore here, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
Yeah, because...
I know we're going to be playing as Bram, which means that we're going to be getting... we're going to do the same thing we did when we played... Actually, no, because in... the Visions of the Past with the Steel Warband, we played our own characters. We were just Char, right?
Yes.
If I recall correctly. And it was just, you had stuff you can interact with to do special things. This one, it seems like you play as Bram, and it's going to be similar to, like, the bit near the end of Season 2, where we played as Kaith.
Yeah.
So... it's gonna be...
Well, if we're all Brams, just start getting ready to cast all that bubble shield stuff. That's all he does as an NPC when he's in missions with me.
Plong.
Yeah.
That's and he's using the old Guardian Shield 5 where you used to lock yourself in place.
Oh yeah.
Because
he's old school like that.
Yeah. I like missions like that. Because it gives you a different tool set to work with, and you have to work within the confines of the mission, and I like it.
Oh, I thought you meant like story-wise, because I was going to say, if anything, kudos to them for doing the Visions of the Past, because previously, this would have been a blog post of like, how, he would have just came up and been like, if it is the way I went, and be like, hey guys, I made a deal with Primordus and I just sacrificed the spirits, and we'd be like, wait, what? Wait, what? And then there would be a blog post about describing it. Whereas, and I think that was our complaint with right before the Arene stuff versus Kralkatorrik, where we had all those like stories with like Ritlock and stuff. And while they were very good and stuff, it's like, I think even I was like, I would love to see that in game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, kudos that they're at least doing that.
Oh, yeah. You're right, ZeKrioX. You play as Rylan in the bit where Almora dies. Okay, I forgot about that part. So yeah, I mean we've got this bit here, so now we get to play as Bram. And I agree with you, Deo, is being able to have side stories like this where the commander is not the focus. It's a better way to tell the story in game. I would love to, like, Visions of the Past, if they want to do it, you could totally go back and tell, like, Casimir and Jory and Tiny's stories in game, like their origin stories in game, without having to like refer people back to the blog posts. Visions of the Past would be perfect for season 1 to give brief bits there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of going back to Guild Wars 1 when they did bonus mission packs. The bonus mission, well, 1, where it had and basically this was more bridging the gap type thing. Like it had basically the fall of Saul D'Alessio,
Triasa.
Triasa, Gwen's discovering the Eye of the North. But it's like, and granted, in that time it was just history books because we kind of were just hitting the Eye of the North stuff, so wouldn't have made sense to be like all that. But now that we have this thing established, yeah, I would love if they, even if they used it as I mean, I don't know if they would or wouldn't, but use it as an option to do a whole series of Visions of the Past where it would have some of these bigger things that like help tie up loose ends. Like, hey, what if there was a vision of the past of like, what's his name? Merrick, the Silvari of the other tree.
I can't remember.
Like, what wasn't it Merrick?
I don't think it was Merrick. It was something else. I can't remember his name. I know
Malik.
Malik, yes.
Yeah.
Malik. Yeah, that'd be it's a little. I don't know when they have time to. I don't know when you.
Yeah, true.
I'm develop it, but it's. But like now they have the precedent of it just has to be something that happened previously, and they can tell the story in game.
And I mean, honestly, it's like I said, and I wonder if they would go the season route of like if you log in during the time it's free and then you pay for it, because I was like the bonus mission packs, and I said this before. In Guild Wars 1, they were just straight up buy them and they were optional, and the rewards were just cosmetics, so there wasn't like no statistical advantage. I honestly, if they came out with the mission packs like that, I would definitely.
It'd be amazing. They could slot skins in this stuff. So
yeah.
I suppose that kind of dovetails nicely into the next bit, because now we know where the next DRMs are going to be, since we're talking about missions. So we're going to have DRMs in Caledon Forest, Bloodtide Coast, and Fireheart Rise. And I'm going to assume that's the lighthouse in Bloodtide, which, I'm not going to lie, I look at this stuff and I'm kind of minorly disappointed, because seeing Bloodtide Coast freeze over in the like open world would be really cool.
Yeah.
Like because that map is still pre-Heart of Thorns. Like that's still pre-season 2. I mean, I think
Bloodtide Coast is an original map.
Well, yeah, I know it's an original map, but I can't even remember if anything's changed in it from any of the story now that I think about it.
Just maybe for Triple Trouble.
Could you imagine the worm crashing through ice? Like, Shah! But yeah, no, I think it's a separate map. But I like Chad saying, what if it's Claw Island?
Claw Island. I mean, it kind of looked like that in the DRM, but that would come from Bloodtide Coast, I think. You could launch from Bloodtide Coast and go there.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be great, because I honestly think that I'm still really shocked that they never gave us Claw Island as a guild hall. Like, could you imagine retaking Claw Island from hordes of like mindless undead that are probably still there and using that as a guild hall? That'd be great. But having yet to experience a Dragon Response mission, I can still do the Dragon Response missions without having done the story, right?
I'm not sure, actually.
Like, I can queue for them from the portal in the eye. Like, I have the option available to me.
I guess so then.
I mean, I technically have the episode unlocked. They're permanent content. Okay. Well, I mean, they're permanent content, but I was just wondering if I had to do something to unlock them, like my availability to do them. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'd have to go back and play a few. Maybe I'll do that when it releases, because seeing new stuff on this is great. I look at that and it's just like Bloodtide Coast is a release. Like, I don't think anything has happened to the story of Bloodtide Coast since the release of the game. Like, it's kind of it's that zone that's that's to the south of Lion's Arch, and that's it. I remember it being a place that a lot of people went for the south, like for entering Lion's Arch during the attack on LA. I spent a lot of time down there at the very north edge of the map. Then everybody went back to the Vigil Keep at the end of it.
Yeah, because it kind of just all goes back to the point I made with Guild Wars 2 and what I thought it was going to be in terms of world changing. But I feel like here they could do it like for a little bit and then just revert it back, but I don't know if it's worth the dev time to do that.
I would rather see just the story progress. Like, advance the zone.
Like frozen, so it'd be frozen over until possibly last chapter.
Well, it would just be frozen over. Like, you would basically advance it as a time locked map to a new state. Basically, I mean that's kind of how Keswick's Hills is with the ruins of the tower, Lornar's Pass with minorly with the remains of the Marionette. Just you would step a map forward, but you'd be able to use that as an opportunity to update the map from an older state, because now they have however many years of design experience under their belt to change the way the map functions. But that's neither here nor there, because they're basically shown that they're now, granted, I don't think they have the time to do it, because that would be a much more significant amount of time involved. But other than that,
I'll say chapter 3 freezes all this stuff. Chapter 4, Primors comes in and melts it all back down, so it's back to normal.
Yeah, that's
like, hey, they changed maps. Oh,
that's kind of the thing. It'd be kind of cool in between like chapter 3 and chapter 4 if we just had like ice over, and then it was like an event, like special events that they can do in the meantime. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, but well, then it'd be unique maps for literally one episode. Like,
yeah, that's kind of the problem, right?
So it's going back to like that what they had with the 2-week cadence and all that stuff, where it was like literally content that just disappeared after.
Yeah. So like that requires tech so that you can easily insert that over like on any map and just like have event spawn with X mob group or something like that. So I
mean, they have added the invasions, so it feels like the tech is somewhere.
Invasions broke last time and they canceled the event last time they tried.
Seriously?
Yeah, that was like last year, wasn't it?
Huh. Because I thought the
or the year before
the Joko invasions still happen.
No, it was. What was it? I don't forget what it was. It was like mostly on. It was on 4 maps. It was supposed to be on the west side, before the Heart of Thorns maps.
Okay.
And they canceled the event just because they ran into a lot of server problems. Let me try to find that.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say I mean, technically out of nowhere type events, they had like the anomaly that runs around in the zones, which doesn't re-change a whole map, but like kind of like what Jim's saying,
gives you something different to do.
Yeah,
it's just my problem with a lot of zones that literally haven't changed since the game launched, for the most part, and I would just love to see those zones get something, just a little bit of a change to make it
Yeah,
more in line
poor
with
Kessex Hills.
Well, Kessex Hills is the example. Like it getting stomped, and then the one fort got ripped apart by
Well,
mortar moth.
yeah.
So
We still haven't rebuilt that.
like small changes that like advance the plot in a zone, I think is perfectly acceptable. But with the DRMs, we also have a new community DRM response mission, which gives us, say it with me, Tengu confirmed for the new faction.
Skritt. Oh.
So we've
No
got
Skritt?
no Skritt, just Tengu.
I think Skritt were last.
Yeah.
Current one?
Elusive Tengu may finally be willing to join forces. Join a global faction mobilization event to equip your allies for battle on March 9th, with 3 more events to come on March 23rd, April 6th, and April 20th. Which, every single time I've seen these pop up, I have zero impetus to even attempt these. I don't know why. Because it just feels meh. I don't know.
I was gonna say I'm trying to think of like people's responses of like, because I know a lot of people hated the first set of DRMs because they just felt so static, but I thought they made a lot of the changes in this one, which I was trying to remember back to how if people enjoyed them more, but I can't.
They're better, but still need work.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
much.
it's like, we're gonna see iteration or more of the same.
I haven't touched DRMs yet, so
Well, yeah, let's see what we get in, I guess.
Like Chat says, they don't really need any more banners. They're good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, we were talking about, the DRMs. You have to Dragon Response, Dragon Slayer weapons entering their final form. This is their final form. Sure. They look really cool. I haven't done any work on them because, aforementioned, I haven't touched DRM. See, the thing is, I'm looking at this and I have to assume that there is no content that is time locked here. Like, I'm not missing in on anything other than just getting it when it releases.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
you could solo DRMs too.
Which I think they made it for that purpose, since they know people probably aren't going to go back. If the only thing that is really worth it out of there is little nuggets of lore and just the rewards. If once you have the rewards, probably only going to go if a friend wants to and you want to help them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless can you trade the DRM tokens for like consumables or materials or anything? I don't know what the vendors have available on them.
I think some things, but it's like generic stuff, I think. Okay. If anything, I don't remember entirely, but I remember going to an NPC and looking, and it's okay stuff. That's something
Nothing
I like
to write home about.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Okay. And finally, as I put on a slideshow of just random shots that they provided from the trailer, there is a chapter giveaway. 5 lucky Tyrians will win a SteelSeries Arctis Pro plus Game DAC headset and a QCK large mousepad. From March 9th to March 22nd, you'll be entered to win once each day you log into Guild Wars 2.
Is there an asterisk on that, actually?
That's a good question. Let's pop.
Is it bad when you said chapter giveaway? I literally thought they were going to do a contest to give everybody like all the chapters that people missed. Like
that would be great. There's no asterisk, Gage. It's just there.
No, there has to be an asterisk. Physical giveaways are.
Yeah, aren't you in the province of Canada that, like you?
Yeah, it's okay. I already have Arctis headphones anyway, so it doesn't matter. And a large mouse pad. So
well, I mean, how do you enjoy your headphones? So if people should know, should they even bother?
Well,
Yeah, these are an older version. They're really good.
I mean,
So the
it's
pros are probably the pros have light up stuff. So
oh, they got the fancy stuff. Well, I mean,
RGB.
it's not even like if you just play the game you're entered. So
So you're saying I can get RGBs for playing DRMs in GW2?
yes,
Aye.
next time on Alphabet Soup.
SOON TM.
Oof. uh. So, oh wait, I didn't want to transition that. I clicked the wrong button. Too early. Too early. Too soon, Executus. Wait, wrong game. The one thing I do want to mention is when you see that shot of the Char holding the static one thing that was labeled Skritt weapon. That'll be interesting. Whole Skritt set, which will probably look cobbled together. That shot
just
with
junkyard weapon.
Yeah, would probably be good for like char engineers or like those. What's their faction called? The
Iron Legion.
Like
the United,
yeah, Iron Legion.
The United Legions. But
and chat's saying the supply crates you can buy with the tokens are a fairly good material source. So
okay, so yeah, it'll be
yeah. I guess if you're going for legendaries or something and you need materials later on, I guess it's a more interesting way than probably generic farming.
I started working on Exordium, and holy shit, the final iteration on Gen 2 Legendary crafting is awful, and I hate it.
Just farm Dragon's Den.
That doesn't...
Or DRMs.
That doesn't change my opinion on them being horrible. Because it's just the method of acquisition. It's just, here, craft things. You don't get to learn about this shiny mercurial sword that literally changes shape as you use it to fight. It just does stuff because you crafted it. Because you bought special MacGuffins from a vendor.
It's honestly, I think it's based on glint and a crystal chamber there.
Yeah, but
that makes the most sense.
I learned about Howler as I built it. I learned about channeling the spirit of Wolf. Like, that was the whole point of the legendary. And then Exordium, buy tokens and craft stuff. Can't say I'm impressed. Yeah. So I realized they said that, it would make the legendaries take more time if they had to do like a questing process.
It also provides flavor to it, but yeah.
I would say like have a book every time you do like one of the precursor steps.
I mean, the problem there is we have enough books and we have no way to like. We don't have a bookshelf in like our home instance.
Just have like one legendary book and it has pages in it.
Yeah.
Legendary tape deck that you can put into mocks in your home instance, so he uploads the. Tell you.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's not really. So any further thoughts on the offerings in the trailer, gentlemen, before we move on to the next bit?
We'll see how it goes.
All these allied factions, do you think they'll do something like vote on one of these allied factions to become the next playable faction?
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
Because then they could just start making Tengu now.
Actually, I think it would be between Tengu and Kodan. I would honestly think that those would be the two front runners. I honestly
think Tengu would win for the meme.
I think Tengu would win, but
Kodan just doesn't work. I feel like
they're basically Norn. So
when in doubt, just go dwarves.
Now, the one thing I did want to bring up is they added what looked like some new guild hall decorations with this, where you see in the trailer where like a char points and the giant ice bridge pops into existence. It looks like you're going to be able to do those in the guild hall. That's kind of cool. Pun, well, it's talking Skritt. The pun's intended. So
Now I wonder if you can with those, can you decorations, you can move them like directionally, right? Like could you basically create an ice wall that could just appear?
I don't think you can rotate it. Like, I don't think you
Oh.
can rotate things like
I was
that.
gonna say I have not done guild like decorations in quite some
Well,
time.
one of the things I mentioned while you were out is I'm surprised that they haven't given us Claw Island as a guild hall,
Yeah.
because I can
I
imagine
wouldn't mind
the
it.
retake mission on that could kind of be a similar thing to retaking it when you actually do the Claw Island mission, dealing with the giant bone dragon and everything. But again, digression. But honestly, the reason I like seeing this is I would love to see what the World Beetle League will do with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you think about it now, Deo, if you're talking about a wall, here's the beetle course. Like the beetle course is running through here, and if you have the platform, like the ice bridge perpendicular, it has depth to the physical object that gets summoned. So you could have someone spawn it in at intervals and like lay across the track. So you'd have to possibly
I
swerve
mean,
to avoid it.
or if you're able to trigger it while on your thing, make it very interesting. Make a big enough course where you could have, say, it has 6 racers. There's only 5 pathways. Each time someone crosses, you eliminate one person each time. Like, come on.
Oh, you Mario Kart it. Sadly, I think interacting with anything pops you off your mount.
Yeah.
But
That would be funny though. It's like, haha, I tricked everyone. No.
yeah, but that was my final thoughts. And are we good to move on to
Yeah.
more meta
I can't wait for
things?
Bram to save us all.
Save us all. Save us all. Save us all. Speaking of some people that need saved,
Oh.
yeah, we've got some people getting banned. Coming from that shaman primarily, talking about having alt accounts banned. That shaman appears to use a Mac, and since the Mac OS client is being disabled, there has actually been communication from Guild Wars 2 to use something like GeForce Now, which is the similar to Stadia, where you
Well,
are.
it's a streaming. It's a cloud-based streaming service that utilizes your PC games. So I think you can connect your Steam. I believe Epic Game Store. I think like Ubisoft, like the other company launchers itself. So yeah, and then you can play. But it now is an opt-in thing, which I think is where important thing will come into play. I
Yeah.
think.
Just a quick update on that shaman. He recently tweeted like 6 minutes ago. He all his other accounts were perfectly fine and unlocked with the vague generic security check message, but somehow one was flagged as hacked. So fun times for him.
I have thoughts on this whole ordeal, but I'm going to get through the facts first. The statement from ArenaNet, and this is something that shaman highlighted in one of the tweets about this, is we will not close any accounts based on what platforms you have played on. Your account remains fully independent of what computer you play on. All of your characters, progresses, purchases, friends, and memories are always accessible via the Windows version of the game and will remain so. This is when the blog post from when they said that the Mac client would be disabled. For the time being, Mac users can still play Guild Wars 2 using the NVIDIA GeForce Now service. So, officially sanctioned by ArenaNet from their own blog post, while streaming over the internet. Moreover, we are interested in feedback from all of our players about such services. So, not only do they say that's okay, they want to know how the game plays on that service. It seems that more than just that shaman got booted for, like, they say they were using GeForce Now. From Reddit user Devon not keen. My account got suspended because I use the free version of GeForce Now, which forces you to restart your session every hour. Of course, it doesn't always connect you to the same server, showing like you're playing from Germany 1 hour and you log out and the next minute you're in Britain. This isn't me blaming anyone, just a warning to players. Edit, I use 2FA. So I'm going to guess that people assume that if you have people think that if you have 2FA, you won't be flagged as, being hacked if you're popping all over the place with a VPN.
They think it might be more reliable, but yeah, no, they're probably seeing things and fishy.
Finally, and this is all over the course of yesterday, because that shaman's first tweet was at 4:50 a.m. Eastern time, according to the timestamps that show up on my computer. At some time on... Wait, I need to... Because I can see the timestamp on the tweet. 12 hours, 4:30... Roughly 12 hours, 4:36 p.m. on March 5th. Post from Fire Attunement on the Guild Wars 2 forums. We have discovered that some players who use the GeForce Now service had their accounts suspended unintentionally. We are in the process of reversing these account suspensions, and we're investigating the cause to prevent this issue from occurring again. If you are still experiencing issues with logging into your account, please reach out to our customer support team at help.guildwars2.com. We apologize for the error and thank you for your patience. Finally, we get a final tweet from that shaman today at 4-ish in the morning, Eastern. Just to let you know, they're still blocking accounts with the GeForce Now sweep. My FTP account was blocked after their forum post. 4:52 a.m. today. And then that tweet that Age did from 6 minutes ago.
Fun.
Well, I was gonna say, I think what you're kind of getting at is the problem with that is, and I think someone even raised this with the reply, like when ArenaNet made a response of, we have discovered that some players that use GeForce Now, all that stuff, that's not saying that it's fixed. They've discovered that people are having this issue, as I mean, you're seeing with all those tweets and from everybody else's issues. They're investigating the cause, so they said they're basically saying it could still happen, just contact customer support. So you're still, I don't want to say at risk, because it's not like, from the sounds of it, if that's just the only issue, they'll gladly open it. It's just right now it's in this weird, it's in this bad middle ground.
Yeah, because technically if you kind of disable what I think is causing it, I think it's just the geo flagging system that's causing it. If you disable that just kind of just open up the floodgates.
Yep.
Well, I know GeForce Now, from other people have said in other games they've had issues with like VPNs type things where they're thinking they're in other locations. So yeah,
it's interesting, because you would think that with GeForce Now they would kind of use data centers for that. So like if you're in the US, you'd have like a US based data center. That way you're not flagged, or like less likely to be flagged in that case. It's just interesting because I guess
so it basically keep you in a geo cluster, like a similar location.
Well, but I think that would be the problem with that is you're connecting to one of their machine servers or whatever, where you'd have to potentially, if there's a lot of people on the East Coast, at what point are they going to say, well, we're not going to make this person sit in a line when we have machines open here?
Yeah, so that's like automatically handles that situation.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's probably where it's coming into play, where it's like, okay, well, the closest server is, for me, I'm in the U.S. East Coast. It's in it's a server in Canada, so they ping there. It's like, what is he doing in Canada?
Well,
you got a point.
With Microsoft Azure, their cloud hosting service that my company uses, one of the most frequent reports we get is impossible travel, which is when you say, like, we had a guy who logged into the office yesterday, like was in our corporate office here in Pennsylvania, and then at 3:00 in the afternoon, while he was still in the office, there was a login attempt for his account in Lebanon. Now, it was a failed login attempt, so we didn't do anything about it. But you can tailor those to have automated responses. So if you have an impossible travel notification trigger, you can immediately have the account lock. Which
Mhm.
all of this stuff, it has to be an automated account lock. There is no way.
Yeah.
It could be anything but.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, just because if you're being flagged for 3 different regions within like 10 minutes, even that that does raise a flag for most companies anyway. So I totally understand that. But it's interesting. So like, I assume Stadia doesn't have this issue because I've never heard of Stadia having this issue.
No, but I think it's because it's basic. And I know if there's any Stadia people out there, they're going to be mad because it's not a platform. It is, but it's not technically not a console. It's basically a virtual console where you're not having this issue on an Xbox or like it's taking you to the closest data center that they have ideally. But I think since the game is specifically made for that system, it's probably baked into that, which is another thing that makes it so hard to carry it over and not just like, you know,
Google
this is the problem of just instantly just carrying things over into Steam, where it's not these games were never really originally designed to do that.
Right. Now, Stadia doesn't have playtime limits, does it?
No.
So that's the other thing is with GeForce Now free, you are literally forced to start a new session every hour. So you're
and
basically
I think the
kicked
paid
to the back
one
of the
is
line.
every 6 hours is the paid version. Every 4 or 6 hours, I forget which one it is.
Unless you're like hardcore farming throughout the course of a day, you're probably not going to come up against the limit on a GeForce Now paid subscription. But the people who are using GeForce Now free, every like, you can play Guild Wars 2 for 2-3 hours, so you'd have to log in at least once, maybe twice, depending on how long you're playing for.
I wonder if it is a load balance issue because technically, you know, like it's not just Guild Wars 2 that GeForce is hosting. It's a bunch of other games.
And then like peak playtime hits and
whereas
and like I said, a lot of people have said that like they've gotten VPN hits off of other games. So I think I'm guessing that is probably what's happening here. But
it's probably the case.
You know, I see now that it's on GeForce Now. Originally, it was like they auto opted people developers in. Now they went back on that because a lot of developers are like, no, you're because potentially that could be screwing up some of their other deals with like consoles or anything. Like it's like, no, don't do that. So they have to opt in now. So I just it raises the question of, and I guess this is even general, like not just Guild Wars 2, because if there's other games getting pinged by this, if you had the force, if you are deliberately opting into this, wouldn't you maybe be like, okay, let's put some kind of
you have to flag
roll
that it was
or
coming
something.
From like
so,
if the game is running off. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Age.
Oh no, go. You're probably at the same train of thought I did.
So if you're playing off a GeForce Now server, you'd have to have a flag in the game, literally just a Boolean flag, so true false, and the game would like the install would be like it would be like using command lines. Like you know how you can do command arguments from your Guild Wars 2 shortcut to log you into a specific account. There would have to be a flag from GeForce Now, like that is authorized to them, obviously communicated in secret in some way so that only they can use it, to say this is coming from a GeForce Now server. So then when you see impossible travel alerts on an account, before the automated thing just bans the account, and because a lot of the times in order to protect the account when possible hacks happen, this is why things get banned so quickly, is to protect the account and what's on it. They lock the account and then wait for the owner to contact support. So if it's flagged as a GeForce Now login, they would then have to move to other metrics to show or to see if it was a fraudulent login.
Mm-hmm.
So is that where you were going with that, Age?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll go one step further and also add two-factor authentication for that specific type of login, just to make sure that the user is the valid user. It reduces the risk of it being an actual hack. Um, but yeah, like the flag makes sense.
Honestly, the timing of it, I wonder if it raises a question. Was there a like a little bit of a patch, like, because I mean, I know in the past Guild Wars 2, to get prepared for one of their patches, like big like content patches like we're having on this Tuesday, they'll start loading things in early.
Mm-hmm.
With this past Tuesday, I wonder if maybe some of the files, because it seems like it happened just recently and we haven't really been hearing about this leading up to, I mean, GeForce Now has been out for a while. I think I remember that Shaman messing around with it earlier and had no issues until this past week where, so I'm wondering if maybe Tuesday, some kind of spaghetti code reverted something, or maybe it was some like an old file version in that section that got when it got updated, or it's just weird that it happened right now and not a month
Um,
earlier or 2 months earlier.
Not necessarily. I don't think it had to do with any of the content, because usually that's kind of separate from any security patch that they would do. It may have been a security patch that they did on the side. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
that's
my suspicion is that either their system caught it, held it for like a week or two, and then like saw that there was a lot of them and decided to lock the accounts. And it could have been happened recently, since everyone probably swapped to GeForce Now who still wanted to play Guild Wars 2 but didn't have a PC. It makes a lot of sense in that regard, just because a lot of people are getting flagged right now. Um, but it could have been a security update as well to compensate for that, but it misfired in some way. But I don't think I don't think a pre-patch for the actual content of the game, like story-wise and stuff like that, has anything to do with it.
okay.
Yeah. So I think in general, it's just they know it's a problem and they're trying to fix it, but it's not something they can turn around in a day, because they have to
That'd be
identify
nice.
that would be amazing. I would love to be able to turn around bugs in my code in a day if it was causing my users to get banned, and like
I
it just
mean,
happened out of the blue.
you just gotta flick the switch the other way. I mean, it's not that hard.
It's just, you just have to find the right
tech,
switch.
technically, yeah. Because right now, okay, so their option right now is to like take off the notification, but that exposes them to actual hacks.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is to quickly put in a GeForce Now flag to say, but then that still runs the risk of people getting hacked. So it's not a viable solution that doesn't require more work.
Even still, like the GeForce Now flag, they would require implementation and testing to make sure it functions the way they need it to. So that would still be
Maybe that's what this is right now, and it ain't working.
I mean, that would need to at least be a full work day, and that's some quick ass turnaround time on testing and implementation. But
yeah,
I
give them a week, to be honest.
Yeah, easy. The thing I have a bigger problem with is, and I hate to like sound like it's a call out, but I kind of get annoyed when people with a following for a game just immediately lash out at the dev team when it seems like they didn't go through. Like, I'm not saying that shaman didn't contact support, but from that first tweet from 4 o'clock in the morning on March 5th, it does not feel like that was I've been trying to get a hold of support for an entire X number of days. But that's also
the problem. And I don't know if he replied, or sorry, that shaman, I don't know their gender. But I don't know if it was them that replied it or someone else, but that is also the issue with Guild Wars 2 is if you're banned, to contact support, you need to log in.
Yeah,
you can't contact them without a login?
I think it, well, I think there is a, like, I think you can click something else, but I think the majority of it's like for it to be attached to your account. So it may create like an extra step because it's like, okay, well, we got to figure out whose account this goes to. But I know that's like one issue is like a lot of times for people to put in a ticket or something, you need to log in.
No, right at the top of help.guildwars2.com, underneath the search bar, there is a link that says trouble logging in. It goes through I forgot my password, account name, character name, and or serial code. I remember my login details, but it ain't working. What do I do if I'm having problems with email authentication or if I'm not receiving the password reset email I requested? I receive an error when trying to log in, and the final bullet point is, if nothing else works, contact support. And then there's a link to submit a ticket.
Yeah, you could submit a ticket anonymously, but in the anonymous section, you have account email as a field that you need to set. And you could also, in the description, you can detail parts of your accounts so that they can help identify your account, if anything. So there are options.
Yeah,
the logging in part is just helping you, like, okay, yeah, this person knows the credentials.
Clearly this person.
It basically auto-fills a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, my issue with this is when you have a following on a social media platform and you immediately turn to venting your frustrations on that social media platform, even if you don't mean anything by it, like you're just venting and you don't like want to pile hate onto the developers, and it's just, or maybe you kind of do, it's kind of heat of the moment thing, but you have tens, hundreds, millions of people following you, and this isn't specifically just with that shaman, it's just with people in general. There are going to be people in your follower base that will then attack the people you are complaining about. So when the problem I have is when it happens with video games, which happens an awful lot, like people just go and not even contact support, and the first thing they'll do is hop on Twitter and complain about it. And then like they just, like the devs, like the official account gets a ton of hate. People get yelled at, like riot tags on the Reddit get yelled at, and it's just like all of this hate when you could have taken 15 minutes to put in a support ticket and waited. Like, I've complained on Twitter about Oculus support ghosting me, which, by the way, that ticket is still open, and I started opening that August of 2019.
So what you're trying to say is that, shaman, if you're willing to help us with your following about the Oculus support, no, that's not what you were going with?
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No. Actually, I think it might have been 2020. I don't know. It was whenever they announced that you would be forced to use a Facebook login that I opened the ticket.
Yeah, it feels so long ago.
It's well.
Yeah, I tweeted at them and saying, "Hey, what if they want to opt out?" They never replied.
Yeah, so I just like that's my issue with this whole ordeal is that, and then immediately after that tweet, hey, yeah, I had another one banned. It's just like, yeah, because they can't turn on a dime. They know it's a problem. They just haven't figured out what the problem is yet. You got to give them more than a single business day, because not only can they not possibly figure out, like, even if they had the entire development staff working on trying to figure out what this issue is, the entire development staff doesn't have the expertise for this, because it's going to be very specifically account login people, like account management people who are going to be working on this, which is a small subset of the developers at ArenaNet. And then they have to like comb through, like, even if they find it, they then have to implement the fix. So like Age said, like a week would be a much more reasonable window of time to expect something to be fixed. So we're going to see people getting banned for GeForce Now logins until they fix that. Unless, of course, like Age said, they disable the impossible travel alerts and open up a whole lot more like they'll miss things that were a valid lock, like a valid hit for the impossible travel notification.
Yeah.
And I mean, to slightly stray away from Guild Wars 2 stuff, but like on this topic of, I know I posted in the Discord early on and we kind of along the lines of the cloud services. Stadia, is owned by Google, and the person that made Terraria, or is like basically is like the main dev, or like one of the only people. Well, that's the interesting thing. He was very transparent on his, apparently there a video, they had a violation on a YouTube video that closed down their Gmail account that was also attached to their Stadia things, developer things, because they were like, we're not doing a port, blah, blah. And I was just like, let's wait and see and find out what happens.
To interrupt you briefly.
Okay.
Actually, while we were, my phone just buzzed. Impossible travel alert from my corporate email.
Oh,
so
fantastic. Are we going to do it live or no? Or is that a violation? No, I'm kidding. But it is that one of those interesting things, that big following, because people are very diehard about Terraria. I mean, it's maybe their game of choice, which, hey, teach their own. But people are like, see, this is proof that Stadia, blah blah blah, is horrible, all this and stuff. Weirdly enough, and I'm sure the hullabaloo made them look at it more, but they got back to him in a day. Clearly, it wasn't fast enough for internet. But weirdly enough, he was so transparent beforehand. After they talked to him about it, he wasn't very transparent. He's like, oh, I got my account back. It's like, oh, so what was the problem? Was it maybe something you did and you just aren't telling us your, like, the whole truth? Or is it big bad faceless corporation, or in this case, big bad faceless ArenaNet, that it's like, they're a company. They want you to spend your time or your money, or in
both.
Probably more likely Google's case, your data, in their systems. It's like they're not trying to kick you out.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing something really horrible. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting that and of course, none of the main company, or none of the main people, journalists covered that stuff, where it was like, oh, weirdly, he's not talking about that stuff. So, but it kind of was interesting when Age said at the very beginning of this that all of that shaman's accounts got put back except for one, which, and I'm not saying that there's something fishy there, but I'm wondering if, didn't they in the past do some videos like where they use some of those like detachable camera things? I wonder if it's that account, because we know in the past that they said that was against their terms, that they don't allow that. I'm just curious. That was the first thing that jumped in my head, was like, and I don't think they use that to break the game. They use that for more cinematic content and stuff like that.
Honestly, giving access to a free camera tool would be great. Which, wait, don't you have a free camera tool in the PvP spectator mode?
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a free camera there.
Okay.
Now, if you were breaking the game and making use of free cam outside of a PvP arena, then that's possibly an issue. But
or for like machinima, like there should be a distinct mode that would allow it, so you can't just use it in like a raid or like the things that they were worried about originally. But like I said, that's what first jumped in my mind. I was like, I swear that shaman was one of the people that like used it for cinematic videos and stuff. So I wonder if that is the particular account.
Actually, having a free camera, having a free camera perspective for a raid would be great for like making videos to teach people. I think the only thing I think the only thing I would have a problem with like a spectator camera would be in like WW, because at that point you'd have people being, because normally free cameras are ghosts and they can clip through solid terrain.
Yeah, so. And I was gonna say, and I think that was the one reason, because the first time that got a lot of traction was when I think Mighty Teapot was using it for their one of his rating competitions, because he wanted like that look, and like they weren't interacting, they weren't trying to get an extra player in to cheat the thing, that it was strictly just there as a camera type thing. But I think that was the reason, at least I think he came out and said that that contest or whatever wasn't officially supported by Arena, but like all the devs were like a lot of the devs were retweeting and stuff. Right. So it had the support, but not official support, because it was using something that wasn't allowed.
Intended.
But he wasn't using it maliciously.
Right. I don't know. Like, the whole situation just seems like a bit of an overreaction. I mean, it sucks. It sucks to have your accounts locked out, especially when you're doing something that you got effectively sanctions to do. Like, you were, like, it was totally, like, when Arena is like, hey, you're free to use GeForce Now, also give us feedback on how Guild Wars 2 plays on GeForce Now, which makes it seem like they want to support it going forward.
Here's some feedback. It got me banned.
Yeah, and it sucks. It really does.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that happens, but like...
And I think it's, like I said earlier, I think it's the growing pains of cloud game, like the shift to adding cloud gaming to the mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, something like Guild Wars 2, like MMOs and stuff where your account is not tied, like you can't have your... Like the problem with like single player games on like a cloud service is like if the game is removed from the cloud service, like where's your like you're not licensed to play that. You were licensed to play it on the cloud service, so it's gone. You'd literally have to go buy the game on another service if you wanted to play it again. But something like Guild Wars 2, where your license is like separate from the platform, I think is perfect. So this is... GeForce Now is amazing for MMOs. It's just they have to get around the whole...
Well, and I guess since we were hitting on Stadia, I would be doing my fellow Stadia people a disservice if I didn't say I think that's the one perk over the other ones. I mean, granted, it doesn't have this big a selection, but it is like a console in that aspect of they have to make that deal, that agreement. So it's not like it's going to go away. Like the game itself, the game won't be pulled unless... I guess for like some legal reason, it's like, changes. Oh, we found out it's, something like that, like some legal thing, but not like the issue that some people are saying with like Xbox Game Pass thing, where it is like a Netflix thing, where it's like, well, this might go away in a month.
Yeah.
But you can play it as much as you want for this month, but they rotate games in and out. They don't do that with it. Like it's a console in that aspect. Like you're literally buying the game.
Yeah.
So that is the difference between, I would say, GeForce Now, Stadia, and like xCloud. And
so, what were you gonna say, Age?
This is kind of a side note, but for those of you who watch Tuesday Game Nights, we sometimes play Uno, and there was a new DLC released called Phoenix DLC. It was released, I think, last month, and we were all excited, and we wanted to purchase said DLC. Now, Deo's on Stadia, I believe, playing it now.
Well, this is the interesting thing. Because I didn't buy Uno on Stadia, but I got Ubisoft Plus because I was like, oh, I wanted to play Valhalla, Phoenix, and a couple of the other games. So I was like, that makes sense, So, and I think what you're about to say is, can you still not find the DLC for the...
Oh, no. You could find it. You could buy it. Can't play it if you have it on Steam, though. So here's the problem. Now, here's the problem, all right? So if you buy it on Steam and then you want to buy the DLC, you can buy it off of Uplay. You can buy it off their site, but it won't work. It won't be available. All right, so I contacted support, and support had the audacity to tell me you should just buy it on Steam, and like it's not on Steam. Otherwise, I would buy it on Steam to not run into compatibility issues. And the worst part is that in order to play Uno on Steam, you have to load up Uplay anyway and attach it to your account anyway. So I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's honestly what confused me, because I have Uno through Steam. I believe you gifted it earlier, like you said, it shows up on Uplay, and since I afterwards got Uplay Plus, or whatever it's called, Ubisoft Plus now, I noticed I was like going in the thing, because I was literally trying to find that DLC thing, and I'm like, why is there two versions of my Uno game? And I was like, in my head I was like, you can't be serious. So I installed a second version of Uno that was through the Ubisoft thing, that version has all the DLCs unlocked, which at that point is literally just that one.
Yes. So in order for any Steam user to use the Phoenix DLC deck, they would have to rebuy the Ultimate Edition on Uplay and essentially have a second copy on their account.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my side.
Bumble.
Yeah.
This is
So I'm
this
like,
is
either allow us to buy it on Uplay and make it compatible with the Steam version, or put it on Steam.
Or if they wanted to, say it's a timed exclusive, like, which would suck, but at least you would know not to. Because how long were we searching for that? Being like, how can we not buy? Like, how? First off, it wouldn't even show up for like the first couple days.
Yeah, it
I
didn't like. Yeah, it 404'd on the Uplay, but I found it on the site. I actually went to the website instead and bought it there,
Jesus.
and I had to get a refund. Like I got my $8 back, but yeah.
The first time I got Far Cry Blood Dragon for free at some point as a Uplay license, and I was looking at it and I'm like, the hell is Uplay? Because I had no idea what Uplay was at the time. So I think I got it for buying like a graphics card or something. So I contacted them and I'm like, can I exchange this for a Steam license? Because I don't want to install your shit. And they're like, no, you can't. And I'm like, I guess I'm not installing it then. And I closed the ticket. Because I think that, like, this is an after-show topic, the platform wars. So, final thoughts on the GeForce Now situation, other than it will probably get fixed. It just takes more time than 12 hours.
Don't use GeForce Now for now. Either find a PC or just wait a week or two.
Try GeForce later.
But when will GeForce Now, or when will GeForce soon? When will GeForce then become Now? Soon.
And since platforms always have to be tribal, it would have been better on Stadia. Just saying.
There you go.
GeForce Now. GeForce Now is good now. It's just not good now for ArenaNet. So later it'll be later than good. Then.
Oh God. So off the back of that, we do have some new information from ArenaNet now. ArenaNet Space.
Is that
now,
their new service?
Not their new service.
Okay.
We have two devs returning to the game. Gentleman by the name of Lute and Devon Carver. Lute announced the news on Twitter. Today is officially my first day back at ArenaNet as a principal tools engineer. I could not be more excited to work on some great tech initiatives, reunite with old friends, and make some new ones. Let's go. Previously, he worked, he had time at ArenaNet, then moved to 343 Industries as a senior software engineer making tools for Halo. So, tools developer, I think, tends to be along the lines of, like, usually internal stuff for, like, developing.
Usually internal, yeah. Yeah, it's just tools to help you, make the game, essentially.
But I think some of that stuff also ends up in our hands, and like, because I would think that, like, the Guildhall tech with decorations might be some iteration of internal tools. That's me making guesses, not me knowing anything. So don't read too much into that for people who are listening. So Zach, welcome back to the game.
Yay. Welcome back now.
Confetti infusions for everybody. I wish that worked. Crash the market, though. It would be hilarious. Devon Carver quietly made a return to ArenaNet in February as an advanced developer. Was a former ArenaNet competitive team design lead who left the company in 2015 and was known for thorough communication on WW. ArenaNet had a job listing for a senior game designer in WW, which is now gone. So, alliance system confirmed?
It's one person. Don't get your hopes up. Reddit.
I did see some people.
He's going to build the whole alliance system by himself in a week.
I did see some people responding to it, being like, "Oh, he was one of the few people that knew what was going on where we were." I'm like, one person. Calm down.
Devon, I'm not. I swear it's all sarcasm. I'm not trying to lump the entire alliance system on you. You do you. You do good work. We will wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Alliance Now system. I'm gonna be doing that the rest of the show.
What if it's the Alliance Then system?
So when you go in, you just get banned. You get kicked out of Warby World for until they have it solid.
So Devon, welcome back to the game. Zach, again,
Yeah.
welcome back to the game. It's good to have y'all.
Especially right now.
Okay.
That awkward silence, though.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't have anything else for it. So, extra, read all about it. It's Community Corner. And coming to us with the news, it's the Tyria Tribune.
Oh.
That just came to me off the top of my head. Let's go ahead and grab that link for chat. That's going to be for now. And the link for the YouTube audience is going to be later in the description. Sorry. Damn it, Deo. Wait, I need that link. Bring me the link back. Okay. So, from the Tyria Tribune, as soon as the Reddit link thing loads, ahoy Guild Wars 2! I just want to make a quick post outlining the site that I've been working on and what it is and is not intended to be. As a longtime player of Guild Wars 2, the radio science that we've been getting, I'm assuming they mean silence, we've been getting from ArenaNet surrounding End of Dragons and content updates is general lately. Kind of hurts on a cellular level, so I put together a light resource and update site for the community. What this is, a simple, easy resource link site that formats well on mobile. A promotional site for items that become newly obtainable. A short and promotional page for fun, cute, and hopefully daily shorts and game updates when we start getting them again. Which is cool. What this is not intended to be. A guide site to replace any of the resources that are linked on the site. Guildnews.de, guildgen.com, guildwars2fans.net are all fantastic resources for getting things done in the game, and I don't want to take away from what they're doing. Not monetized. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So aside from the ads on YouTube that are turned on for now by default by Google's side, I will do my best to keep this site and all of its peripherals ad-free. This is meant to be a light resource for the community. If you want to support someone, please go donate to the sites I listed above. They're doing far more than I am. If you finish reading this before waiting to blast it in the comments, you're a gem. I really love Guild Wars 2, and I hope this can add something to the amazing wealth of third-party sites and resources that have been made by people who clearly love it as well. You may now upvote or downvote this into oblivion. See you in Tyria. I would upvote. That would require me to log into my Reddit account, which I haven't done in years, and I feel like it's a streak at this point, and I don't want to break it. I'm always glad to see more content.
More tools, more, like they said, a great resource, like, I mean, I don't usually search on the for mobile, so it's not really targeting me. But I'm sure a lot of people who don't have like maybe two monitors might be easier just to pull out their phone and just so.
And if it's,
yeah, perfect.
Mobile's the new PC, honestly.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before about mobile gaming and like that this can be just as equally powerful a machine as the thing sitting in the box on your desk.
Especially if you use a cloud service like
GeForce Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But like pre-pandemic times, like people would just use their mobiles a lot more just because, you're on the go a lot, and mobile phones are just really good for, looking at social media, things like that. So
makes sense. That's solid. It's very lightweight. It loaded very quickly. The carousel with all the extra stuff on it is pretty responsive.
Which I do have to say is handy for it being lightweight, because like I still remember even on my regular computer going into like Dolphy or something like it, like, or just a lot of images, a lot of background, like just
yeah.
Ugh.
Well, one of my biggest problems loading a lot of websites is even if my ad blocker stops them, ads still attempt to load.
Yeah.
So, and I hate to say I'd like to say out loud I have an ad blocker, and it's like, look, it's not you guys' fault. It's just Google AdSense has a nasty habit of loading malicious shit because it's much like YouTube. They can't stop all of the stuff at the door that is malicious. So I've had a much better experience with the internet blocking all ads than having to deal with the however many % that I deal with that are malicious. So I hate the fact that I take that monetization away from ads from sites that
Don't
I
worry,
use.
guys. I click on your website twice to make up for it.
Oh, thank you, Dale. I appreciate you. But the Tyria Tribune site, it was, I want to say, a second loading in for everything to snap in properly on my phone. So it's pretty solid. So, well, thank you, Tyria Tribune, for being an aggregate site, and especially thank you for making the website lightweight, because that's a service that I think a lot of websites need to do a better job of offering at this point.
Yeah, especially because it's kind of like what Age was saying. If you're like out and about or something, if it's lightweight, especially on mobile, it's not taking up a lot of data, like to figure it out. So
that's true.
So yeah, awesome job.
Any final thoughts on our extra for Community Corner here this evening, gentlemen?
No, because I can't think of a way to add GeForce Now to it.
Well, at least you're honest. So I guess that means it's outro time. So, Deo, where can they find you?
You can find me on GeForce Now. You can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. Mondays and Thursdays I usually stream 8 p.m. Eastern to about 10, so about 2 hours. Kind of Warframe has been like the official Monday game, and then Thursdays kind of open up to anything, and sometimes just Warframe again if it's really good, because we got updates coming, more Railjack stuff. That should be fun. So but yeah, you can find me at those places, so see you hopefully there.
Awesome. And Age, where can they find you?
Twitch and YouTube at ArenaNet. So playing a lot of Apex, having fun with it. BDO currently has this month 1,000 XP bonus, so I'm gonna be playing a lot of BDO because I'm not passing up on that. What else? We got Guild Wars 2 next week. There's Genshin story updates coming, I think, next month. So that'll be fun. 1.4. Venti's coming back as a banner. I'm working on some stuff for my YouTube channel, which I haven't uploaded to in a while. So that'll be interesting. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
It's a very busy time schedule for you. I'm looking forward to the YouTube video.
We'll see how it goes.
Awesome. And finally, you can find my crazy self on Twitter, mostly at MalthanusMMO. And I don't know why I've done this, but Aaron Just Monk, yes, Aaron, I will continue to long pronounce the double M in your name until the day I die, has poked me to play Apex, which I have literally never played a battle royale in my life, and I'm going to be doing that on Tuesday probably. Or if we're going to do that as the group game night, I need to talk with my fellow Mad Realms folks to see what's going on. Arlie has been neck deep in work after she was stuck in the Great Blizzard.
The Jormag DRM.
Yes, she was fighting Jormag down in Texas. And
I'm not gonna make that joke on stream. I was gonna compare someone to Bram, that conveniently left. Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah. So Apex at some point next week, and then Deo also then proceeded to guilt trip me into reinstalling Warframe, so I can actually try and make an attempt at playing that. Maybe I'll join you on Monday.
Ooh, worst case scenario, where you could probably play Warframe?
GeForce Now.
Yeah. Sorry, I had one last one in.
Hashtag
I think it's activated on there, but could be.
But Tuesday nights is usually the group game night here on Mad Realms, and then Thursday nights is 0 to Hero normally, but it's 3v3 deathmatch. I'm I'm not in that for Guild Wars 2 PvP right now, and I played League this past Thursday, which I don't mind getting back into normals. I got stomped by a Wukong the first game. Proceeded to, I think we won the second game, but I was not happy with it. I played Fiddlesticks Jungle, and I just did terribly. We got carried by a Volibear. Actually he turned out to be a bit of a dick. Like, he started raging hard by the end of the game, but maybe I'll play more League until Guild Wars 2 PvP goes back to standard conquest. But hope to see you all, excuse me, for whatever games that I end up streaming on the Mad Realms channel for the next week. And we'll be back here next week for 4 p.m. Eastern Time for more Talking Skritt in a week. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. We hope you all have a fantastic evening, and we will catch you next time. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
GeForce Now.